Hello everybody, my name is Roger and welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So today I'm doing a book review of a book entitled A Man Called Uva, written by Fredrik Backman. And this is my first Fredrik Backman novel actually, and all I can say is, why did I wait so long to read this author? So this book follows a man named Uva, who is the cantankerous, curmudgeonly, grumpy and unfriendly neighbor that many of us have and many of us can relate to. He complains absolutely about everything. And he's the kind of angry man who puts signs around the neighborhood warning others of what they can and can't do. He loathes technology and misses the days gone by when people could fix their own cars and knew how to repair things around their house. So for Uva, everything is black and white, and there's a proper place for everything. If you don't follow Uva's rules, you're an idiot, and he won't hesitate to tell you that. So Uva's tale unfolds when a new family moves in next door to him. Parvana, a very pregnant Iranian woman, her rather inept and lanky husband Patrick, and their two little girls. So on the day they move in, not only do they drive in an area where the sign clearly states that parking in residential areas is prohibited, but they also end up flattening Uva's mailbox. So we can certainly imagine how this scene unfolded. But there's a lot more to Uva than meets the eye. You see, his wife and the love of his life, and the only person who really understood him, passed away recently. And it's still quite apparent that Uva is stricken by grief. So, lonely and depressed, he has no friends at all. And we get the impression that he feels as though he's outlived his usefulness. In fact, all he wants is to be left alone so he can put his plan together about how to join his wife in the coming days. But the neighbors are not going to make it easy for him. Despite Uva's repeated attempts at pushing everybody away, Parvana ends up striking an odd sort of friendship with Uva, and a good part of this book focuses on that friendship. She is determined to pull Uva from his self-imposed isolation, often with quite hilarious results. Hell, she even manages to talk Uva into giving her driving lessons, which really had me laughing out loud. There are numerous other neighbors who come to him for assistance, interrupting his quiet, lonely life. But he always helps them because he can't stand watching them to make a mess out of things. There's even a mangy alley cat who decides to adopt Uva, leading to some very touching and amusing scenes. So on to what I liked about the book. Well, first off, this book had me laughing hysterically one moment and dabbing at tears the next. So in this way, it was a heartwarming, funny, and touching story. The excellent characterization drew me right in, and it was only with the greatest of reluctance that I let go at the end of the story. All of the characters were absolutely wonderful. They were well fleshed out and utterly relatable. So these are unique, multifaceted characters who all have very human faces. Ordinary people we could see in any neighborhood of any town or city. And the way that they related to one another was absolutely delightful. It was also fun to watch Uva rage against the machine, as it were, specifically against bureaucracy and men in white shirts. I mean, who of us hasn't been there? You know, this kind of made me think of Doctor Who, but instead of men in white shirts, he has a dislike for men with clipboards. Now, you may think, well, why would I want to read a book about a crabby old man? The thing about this story is that as it progresses, Uva becomes more ingrained into the lives of others and them into his. And in that process, he becomes more human, a delightful progress that we get to watch unfold. So the story weaves back and forth between Uva's past and his present, and we learn in quite an eye-opening way what brought him to this point in his life, and we discover why he is the way he is, leading to an understanding and empathy with this angry man who we may have intensely disliked at the beginning of the book. So this is a perfect example of how we can't judge a book by its cover, and how we really can't know a person until we discover their past and the events that they've gone through in their lives. So on to what I didn't like about the book. You know, there were no niggles nor anything else that I especially disliked about the story. The only thing I didn't care for at one point, there was this exhaustive list of every single car that Uwe and his neighbor owned throughout the years. I found this kind of unnecessary and a tad boring. But then again, I am not a car person, so this part didn't really thrill me. So on to my final verdict. A Man Called Uwe was an inspirational, laugh-out-loud masterpiece that touched my soul and had a beautiful, satisfying ending. This story is as thought-provoking and hopeful as it is emotional and sobering, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. This is such a smart story, an eye-opening account of letting go of prejudices and of seeing beyond what we think we know. You know, I believe that Backman exhibits an uncanny insight into the human condition in this novel, and in so doing causes us to deeply care about this grumpy old curmudgeon who does everything in his power to render himself unlikable. So this was a touching and somewhat bittersweet tale of a lonely man trying to live in a world that is a little bit beyond his understanding and definitely outside of his comfort zone. But this wasn't merely a story about a crabby old man, but instead it's about love, kindness, and most importantly, friendship. Though Uwe may not seem to be a likable and relatable character initially, you know, if you give him a chance, this old grump will definitely steal your heart. Or at least he did mine. So this might end up being one of my favorite reads of 2018. I think it is so far. I'd say it's number one. So needless to say, I want to read everything written by this author. I think he wrote a book called Beartown, which I've seen a couple of reviews on, which sounds really intriguing, so I think that will be the one I picked up next. So anyway, needless to say, I gave A Man Called Uwe 5 stars. How about you? Have you read this book? If so, what did you think? Let me know in the comments. And I think that'll be it for this time. As always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate if you click the like button below. It really helps me out. And I think that's it for now. I will talk to you in the next video. Roger and out.